especially women. Actual activism, and to help those who suffer, is greater than but my philosophy. Okay, sure. So this is my basic opinion, right? I've written, if that is your actual stance, then I regret to inform you that any movements made from that foundation will always get struck down by the general biological consensus, right? Hugely powerful biological biases and drives that come to these things. And unless we're aware of them, and unless we're aware of how they're driving us and society and all that stuff, right? That's a big spanner in the works of how this goes, right? You know, if you're blind to something, you know, then you got problems. Again, it's not really it's not really the topic I want to address here, but anyway, this is my opinion on this. If that is your actual stance, then I regret to inform you that any movements made from that foundation will always get struck down by the general biological consensus, strangled by political correctness, forced to walk on eggshells and compromise reality to appease people's sensibilities. Right, this is what happens. Like, say, at the moment, you could look at it like natalists, if you want to call them that, or just normal people. Let's just call them normal people. They have the power, right? Because they are the majority, and they've got social proof and like their biology feeding into their own comfort and comfortable worldview. So they have the majority of power, right? And like power concedes nothing without a demand. That's like Frederick Douglass, who was instrumental in bringing about the abolition of slavery, right? And it didn't happen like this. He said power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. And I've seen that in action, right? Take the example of like me getting everyone I work with a pay rise single-handedly, right? That's not blowing my own trumpet, because believe me, I could have gone about it much better had I had a better understanding. But fact of the matter is, it worked. The only thing that was a hindrance to it was no solidarity, right? Yeah, there are other examples of that, but I won't go into them now. Yeah, so I'll continue. By the way, you spelt chauvinism wrong, and here's the definition: excessive or prejudiced support for one's own cause, group, or sex. Now, read the research from Purdue titled "Women Like Women More Than Men Like Men" and answer me two things. 1. How does the conclusion not fit the definition of chauvinism perfectly? And 2. How that doesn't disprove our received wisdom and preconceived notions about where chauvinism is typically assumed to exist. Or is that study, this is sarcasm here, right? Or is that study done by a woman too misogynistic for your self-righteous sensitivities? That word is so overused and misapplied, it's totally meaningless and laughable to anyone who actually knows what they are talking about. And if you are that easily demonstrated to be so wrong about what you call chauvinism and where it actually resides in abundance, who knows what else you might be wrong about? Like, I'd definitely be inclined to check if it was me, right? I recommend it. If your views are demonstrably outdated about that hugely significant fact, then clearly it's your views about women that are closer to medieval, right? How ironic. So of course, there's a kind of response to that. I was expecting, this is where the real ignorance comes in, and the biggest thing is like, this is popular, right? This is kind of popular ignorance, and also a demonstration, as you'll see, of like an unwillingness to even look at information that, you know, that's contrary, you know, that doesn't fit with your intuitions. You know, this first comment by this person has like 6 likes, and it's all like most of that's just based on people's personal preferences, personal biases. Obviously, it's like biased sample because of the particular comment section I'm in. But anyway, yeah. So this was the response. So much tExtWalL and no debunk of Gary's hate speech whatsoever. So you're just making this assertion that it's hate speech anyway. Good luck recruiting more incels to hate on people and animals for existing. Okay, right, well, see, this is why I didn't even address that in the following comments, because it's so ridiculous. So antinatalism will become a dirty word. Sorry, like, it's basically already a dirty word. Thanks to ethalists. Like I said, you're basically both in agreement for like 95% of it all. It's like, it's just a personality thing. Like Gary said in videos before, like, people are, like, he's fully admitted his personality defects. You know, I don't see you, you know, like, I checked your channel, there's nothing there. You know, do something yourself. Anyway. Yeah, thanks to ethalists. Definitely a way to reduce suffering. Yeah, sure, whatever. See, that's got a like already, fair enough. Oh, and best wishes on benign rape for you, boys, since you seem to like it. Again, you're just asserting that, you're just ascribing that to me with no evidence whatsoever. Like, I wrote an extensive tExtWalL in your eyes that you likely didn't read, or definitely misinterpreted, where I categorically stated